Hi Pisces, here is a general look at your solar chart for April 2014. And we have got some very powerful influences, astrologically speaking, this month for all of the signs, particularly the cardinal signs. And you're not a cardinal sign, but you could have a planet in a cardinal sign. Most of us do. However, here we're just looking at the sun, and there's going to be a configuration in the skies over April called a grand cross, or actually it's a cardinal grand cross, and that means there's 4 planets, each at one end of a cross shape, which makes a big square in the sky, and they have been lining up since the back end of March, and will get the aspect very tight from the middle of April, and then it will still be in alignment but separating over early May. And there's also going to be a little help from Mercury in there on one point of the cross as well, and also a solar eclipse which is happening on the 29th in Taurus, and that's going to be in a very good angle to your sun sign, Pisces. This grand cross configuration, on one of the points there is Mars, and Mars is working in retrograde, so just a word about that. It wouldn't be a good idea to, if you need to throw down the gauntlet to anybody, if you need to take action against somebody, or sort of set proceedings in motion, or indeed launch into some very important negotiation or some very important project or enterprise, it would be better not to make the first move until May the 20th. If you've already made the first move and it's just ongoing, now that's a different thing, but not to initiate in April, simply because with Mars going backwards, you know, the plans might not pan out according to the schedule that you want or in the way that you want. And so, yeah, that's just a little word in your ear. This grand cross energy is, in fact, 2 of the planets there have been coming into aspect and away from out of aspect in kind of sort of a wave-like motion for a few years now, and that's what's been behind this huge amount of change that's been affecting our world. As it's flying around everywhere, and it's sort of kind of undermining certain old structures and ways of being, but also unraveling establishment structures in our societies, and also altering the programs that we've been running in our own lives. And it's even been affecting the weather, and it can be seen in lots of different ways if one has eyes to see. But there is something really important happening with your sign this month, and even though it's not your sun sign month, there is a huge a very significant influence going to be felt through your sign, Pisces, and that is Venus. Now, Venus is coming into your sign on the 6th, and from that place in the sky, she's going to be making extremely positive aspect with 3 of the players in this very tight, tense, conflicting square configuration in our skies. And in your sign, Venus is at her most kindly, compassionate, altruistic. And that means that she will be a kind of a safety valve on this pressure cooker pattern in our skies. And it is time, and many will reach for her energy, I think, if they're right in the thick of it. And you, even though you're not a cardinal sign, you might know others who are very much in the thick of it over April, and you guys hold the key in a way, because it is time to actually get over our ego bickering about this and that and the other thing, and sort of standing on principles about you know, being very judgmental is what I'm trying to say, and just move in to that consciousness of cooperation, of caring and sharing, and she's going to really very much flag up not the differences but the commonalities we share as we all stand on this earth beneath the same sky, all together. And even though we are under pressure, that wonderful aspect there, not just her being in your sign, but it happens to be the angle that she's coming towards the others, that will be a kind of get out clause in a way. But it's always up to us to choose to use that, and I'll try and explain to you in a minute what that might be in your for your transits over April in a minute. But I have made another video about the Grand Cross in general, which you can find a link to here somewhere. Now, on March 30th, there was a new moon in in Aries, which will kind of unfolding over April, and you may be busting out of something that's been holding you back, that you felt kind of a bit stymied by, and it's a good time for you to be, you know, moving into moving ahead with plans to improve your material financial setup. And this is a kind of a background vibe. The more significant one, though, would be from the 29th, with the solar eclipse in Taurus in a good angle to your sun sign, and it does signal that that would be the day to take one small step, or even a big one, regarding communications, promotions, media, expressing yourself. The intention then will be set up for that following 6 months. It can simply be a question of picking up the phone or writing that text or that letter or whatever it is, but that would be the day to do it. Now, every year at this time, the sun is in your financial area. It's in an area also to do with property matters, possessions, and in general assets. And so all of those sorts of things, that basic sort of stuff, is likely to have your attention, and you could be looking at how to improve things on those sorts of very practical levels. And also it can indirectly be to do with health and well-being as well, might be yours, might be in others. Until the 8th, Mercury is in your sign, so a lot of information coming at you, a lot of ideas going off in your head, maybe more paperwork, and you're very much in the stream of information exchange with others. And there's maybe lots to get your head around, and even communications equipment and vehicles or schedules, timetables, that kind of thing may be on your mind. You might be feeling a bit scattered, and if you do, take yourself right out of it, bring your mind to heel, sit down and meditate, or sit down and paint something or write something which is taking you into another world. Do some yoga, you know, just breathe, and get in the bath, float in the water. That would be a great thing to do. But then Mercury does move on the 8th, and then conversations tend to have this very much more practical slant, because then Mercury is going to be underpinning the position of the sun. So it will be about, you know, the lines of communication will be about the piggy bank, things which others may value, you may value, property, possessions, assets of all kinds, and you'll be looking into how to make the most of things, how to improve things, and gathering information on that, connecting with others related to that subject there. Buying, selling, renting, leasing, that might also be a subject of conversation, and also just stuff, you know, and paraphernalia that we sort of trail through life with. And also around mid-month, something unexpected may get you thinking along very new lines regarding all of that basic stuff area. From the 20th, the sun then moves and goes into a very sociable, chatty, busy area, meeting and greeting, mixing and mingling, corresponding, sharing what you know, sourcing information, just generally running around more. And it's time that you may have more on your mind. So even though Mercury moves out of that area, the sun actually rather Mercury moves out of your sign, the sun is moving into a similar area. and then from the 23rd, Mercury comes into that area too. So more of this kind of information exchange and making the right sort of useful connections and finding out what people know and then finding out what you know, and over the wires, of course, as well. Until the 6th, Venus is transiting a very background area of your chart. You maybe not quite knowing how somebody else is or what their feelings are about something. You yourself maybe keeping your feelings to yourself and your cards close to your chest. A bit uncertain, mulling something over, maybe not wanting to put your cards on the table about what you are feeling a bit more emotional as well. And this is a time when you should be taking a step back, touching base, just in that. So if you're listening to this in March, you should be doing that in March. Venus has the knack of finding the balance here with your emotions, with your feelings, and just let her gently kind of do her work. There are invisible hands there holding you and supporting you, and you, more than any other sign, can feel that, and she will help iron out any inner turbulence. But then from the 6th, Venus comes into your sign and into this very pivotal position in relation to the cardinal cross. So Venus in your sign will tend to make you feel more sociable and warmer and outgoing and in the mood to meet the world with a smile. You're going to be very, very busy, you know, in socializing, mixing and mingling, hooking up with others, but also that milk of human kindness there, that something touching you, or you being able to do something for somebody else in a service kind of a way, which very much touches them and touches them deeply. You can be coming across as somebody who is warm and friendly, but also attractive, you know, so work it, you know, get your hair done, get something done with your, you know, get some new clothes. I mean, go for some retail therapy. And of course, you being a Piscean, you're probably buying things for somebody else, but do try not to forget yourself, because you do have permission now. And you are a great morale booster during this time here, but also maybe putting yourself in some sort of environments where your morale can be boosted too, and it's very likely to be happening. So work that energy to your advantage, whichever way you deem appropriate, Pisces. Now, until late year, Saturn continues in a very supportive aspect to your sun sign. There may be some deeper insights which have taught you a great deal already during this transit. You will be seeing the reality of your lofty ideologies, warts and all now, and taking more seriously how to make those ideologies, those dreams, those beliefs, your belief system, you know, apply it in daily life, and actually then, you know, the proof of the pudding, as it were. But some sort of rose-tinted fantasies could come down to earth with a bump during this very, very long transit of Saturn here. And that went in there in October 2012, so some of you may already have felt that bump. So taking more seriously wider communications, higher education, academia, more important communications that you put out on a wider stage, also legal matters, looking into that a little bit more for some of you during this long transit, and definitely long distance connections. It's so easy for us to connect with long distance, but there's a feeling here of you know, really earthing that and grounding that now, and developing this new understanding, which will come gradually, will help you to make a new shape where you're you know, this is a kind of wake up and smell the coffee planet. So making a new shape, chipping out of the stone, you know, making a new foundation where your ideologies are concerned, and being more realistic about them. And you could become more respected for your knowledge or style of communicating, your know-how, but also appreciate and you know, really do admire others and try to emulate them for that. Or you find that others are trying to emulate you. You are the mentor, you are the guide there. You are sharing your experience, your know-how. Until July, Mars is in the sector of your solar chart, which is clearing the decks for new beginnings. So it's very much, changing gear in your deeper feelings. And so turns of events will be the trigger or the pivot for that. And maybe you letting go of a previous standpoint or a previous financial setup, contract, agreement. It might be connected to property. It might be connected to some kind of jointly owned or some joint interest that you have with another. And so you might want to rewrite the script there, modify it, or ditch it altogether. And Mars likes to be decisive. Mars likes to get the ball rolling on things. So you will be quite assertive in that area there. You won't have any truck with kind of beating around the bush. And you might feel that others are trying to manipulate you or coerce you in some sort of way. You'll be very, very sensitive to that kind of thing with Mars here. And, you know, just remember that the Mars energy doesn't really, it can be a bit over the top, and it doesn't really have an off switch either. So there might be a lot of turmoil going on inside of you whenever Mars comes near an important point by degree, or in fact, you know, your Sun in your natal chart. So anyway, you are maybe there's a clash of wills, there's a clash of values there, and even though, you know, often compromise is the way out or the way to get into a more comfortable sort of scenario, you have to stick up for yourself. But I think your values are probably, and your beliefs and values are going to be changing over this long period here. And these are long transits. It's not just about April alone. And then Jupiter will bring its potential abundance and expansion into your life, through children, through pets, through your creative ability, your ability to be enterprising, your ability to just go for those pastimes and habits which you feel makes you feel good, make you feel empowered by. That's the way to go there. There could be a few admiring glances coming your way for some reason as well, because this is very much the area for that and for romantic encounters, romantic connections, and you feel like, you know, very much center stage there. But also it could be somebody coming into your life. This area is about children, young ones, where, you know, those admiring glances are coming from you towards them as well. And very much that playful inner child should be, you should be learning through that side of yourself, you know, that child coming out to play. And there's some important things to be said about Neptune as well. But if you want to know which parts of your sign any of these will be affecting the most, and particularly Neptune, then have a look at DianaGarland.com. It's there. And also, if you know your moon sign or your rising sign, listen to the forecast for those, because that'll give some more pieces that you can sort of kind of weave together to get an idea of what might be coming up over April. And I will see you the next time.